I think it's one of the highest leverage actions that a person can be doing nowadays. Building a personal brand that has the ability to be broadcasted to the internet.
Yeah.
The internet is really powerful as a means of distributing your message. I'm not perfect, but when you begin to watch my long form content and you neglect clips and things of this nature, you'll find good substance and good principles for a sound way of living, doing business, building relationships, and ultimately finding your fullest potential, which is the core of my message, is don't settle for average. Focus on becoming extraordinary. Understand that your mind is to be mastered, and if you can't control it, it'll dictate your future. If you can't control the way that you think, if you can't control what you put into your mouth, your diet, if you can't control what you listen to, and ultimately you're going to end up in a situation where you're not living life by design. And nobody's taught people how to live life by design. We sat down with somebody yesterday and we were having the conversation, that they had a child, where I was like, hey, has anybody ever taught you how to be a father? And the reality is no. Has anybody ever taught me how to be a CEO, how to become a good man? These things are out there, these truths are out there, but they need to be found. But a lot of people, they haven't been intentionally taught these things. So if you can spread a message and give some sort of guiding clues towards the next best way of living, then I think it's good enough content.
What do you think is the biggest misconception most people have about like what it takes to manage something at this scale?
That it's hard.
Mm-hmm. It's true or it's not true?
It's just intense. It's not that it's hard. It's that it's hard at first.
Were you always intense? Because I noticed your attitude towards everything is like all in 100%.
Yeah.
Were you always like that or was that cultivated?
I'm all in.
Yeah. So you're all in or you're all out?
If you're going to do something, we've hung out over the last couple of days. Hopefully you've been able to see my personality. If I'm interested, I'm all in. If I'm not interested, you're just never going to see me interact with it.
But I mean more so when you started, because sometimes, it's one thing, because I'm sure how you were when you were, a kid in Argentina is very different than who you are today.
For sure.
So I'm always talking to the person who, because most people will never be in a high leverage position, right? Most people will have limitations to what they can do and create in terms of like, for example, a lot of people might hear this and go, well, I'm trying to build a personal brand, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't know who to hire. I don't know if I'm that good. I've never, made $1 zillion. So, they deal with all these limiting things that hold them back. So I'm just curious for me, like, what's the biggest misconception? Like, for example, the young version of you who's seen you killing it now, what would he think?
When I said that it's hard, I meant the misconception that people think that this is hard, I can't do it. If you already start with the wrong mindset, you're never going to succeed. When I started doing content, I said, I have a mission. I want to build this entrepreneur community. That was my intention for making content on the internet. So I didn't want to get clout. I didn't want to get famous. I didn't have validation from comments on the internet. None of these things were the reason why I was doing what I was doing. So now I'm building it. And once it's built, entrepreneur community, and it has the size that I want it to have, then I'll stop making content because my mission will be complete towards what I set out to do. If you don't have a reason to do something, then you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
If it's just money, how many people and creators have we seen make money and then they stop making content because they've made enough money? A lot. If your mission is just to make money, then sure, you can make money through content. You can make a lot of money through content. But once again, it needs to be able to transcend just something that is material or something that is fleeting or that has emotional instability. You lose money and you become emotionally unstable. You make money, you become emotionally stable. These things dictate your emotions, which means they master you and that they're your God. So if you have a higher purpose, like empowering your community, leveling up, finding truth, these things that take many, many, many years to work on, then through that time, what you're going to develop is character. And that character is determined by a consistent set of actions. So once you've been doing podcasts for 6 years, it's ingrained. Like I listened to you ask questions. It's already a second nature to you. It wasn't the same way in 2018. You're probably stuttering, thinking about questions, probably nervous. Today, it's no longer the case. You're very mellow, very chill. That comes from the consistency of doing the same thing over an extended period of time and iterations that have now changed your personality and changed your character. So when you do things that are difficult, not hard, difficult, challenging things like a challenging puzzle, if I play an easy game, I get bored.
Yeah.
You don't like to play easy games that are in easy mode and always winning. No, you want a challenge. You want something that's going to require the ability to level up, something that's going to require your desire to think.
But where did your hunger come from?
I had nothing, bro.
Yeah, but a lot of people have nothing. What was different about your hunger?
I saw people that were not as smart as me, unfit, spiritually dead, crushing it in life. And I said, I can do the exact same thing as all of these people.
How old were you?
16 when I moved to the United States. Argentina, unfortunately, has a very broken mindset when it comes to self-development, when it comes to leveling up. Argentine people have a broken mindset when it comes to wealth. There is what's the word in Argentina? There's pride in being poor. You know, it's like it's a good thing. You're a person of the field.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But that's just not me. I want to travel the world. I want to meet incredible people. If it wasn't for money and it wasn't for status, I wouldn't be where I am today. So once you're born, you get to choose the game you want to play. You get to choose the character you want to become. You get to choose the life that you want to live.
Did you have a role model that showed you this, or you just trial and errored it from the younger kid?
The Bible, man. The Bible teaches you all the truth that you need to know about the world. It teaches you how to think. It teaches you what to stay away from. It teaches you what to pursue. The Bible tells you that if you pursue truth and you seek it and you find it, it'll set you free. It tells you to stay away from women. It tells you to stay away from the things of the world. It tells you to stay away from the things that corrupt your soul, not because it's trying to take from you, but because it's trying to prevent you from doing things that are going to affect you and hurt you and break your communication connection with God. So if life is about pursuing and finding truth, why do we work? Why do you work 50, 60 years? Just to make it? My content is designed specifically for people to realize these things, for people to wake up, for people to have self-realization. You can't tell people the truth and then they believe it. They have to experience it. They have to go through it. We've had experiences together where it's like epiphanies hit you, and unless they hit you and unless you're able to perceive them, you're not going to believe them.
Right.
And people need to
experience.
They need to experience it. So if you don't feel confident, do something that will create the scenario that will give you validation towards continuing to pursue that dream or pursuing that venture. If you want to become an entrepreneur, go try. If you want to make money, go try. Yeah, you're going to fail many times. But what do you want to do? Succeed at something easy that yields no result?
Yeah.
No, go fail at something hard. The worst that'll happen is the same thing that'll happen even if you live a great life. Nobody's going to remember you. You're still going to die.